Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening.
GM.
Morning.
Hello, GM.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Let us start with intentions, distractions. My intention is just to see when we can have a front-end version for recent changes. And also following up things, honestly, I don't have any issues ready to be planned for these 2 weeks. So I just want to make the meeting very short, and maybe after we find out that we have design resources, we may plan it maybe daily instead of 2 weekly in a sprints. So this is my intention. And also, I asked Mish to have a presentation about this segment to get the devs more familiar with the analytics tools that we want to have it in the future. I pass it on to Cherik.
Thank you, Mo. Hello, guys. Good morning, good evening. I'm really eager to know about the segment and if you need to implement it in the front end or not. And I don't have any really important intentions, and I pass it to Mitch.
Thanks. Just here to check in and get updated, see what needs to be tested and what you guys are working on, and I guess to show off segment. And I'll pass it to Amin.
Hello, everyone. I like to type a little bit about IPFS, how we can clear the, release some storage of our IPFS server. It has been unnecessary for us. And talk about the rest of week, what we should do. I will ping Shab to join. Also, I pass it from me.
Hey guys, I'm here to sync up with the team and plan for the next sprint and also for the next release. And I'm also really waiting for our new features, the Gift Power Notification Center and the other features that we are going to add. I pass it to Matteo.
Hey guys, GM. Well, today I'm planning to check on some pull requests and see when we can do a release. And after that, I accorded with Carlos to meet and see and check out the documentation of Stripe and see if we are able to handle the fiat payments now. It's not much about the implementation, is more about if they will allow us and won't ban us after we release it, because we have done it before and I think it's going to be really easy to handle this. But yeah, besides that, I'm also interested in the notification center and all of the cool stuff that we are planning to do this next sprint. I'll pass it to Kotabe. Done.
Hey everyone, GM to all. I'm here to sync. I have few distractions. I have to give what is this? Medicine to a cat. But I'm here and I'm curious. I want to see what's happening with the DApp. I've been testing it the last week and I want to test it more this week. Just do my part and that's it. I'll pass it. I was a bit late, but let me see. Maybe I can pass it to Carlos.
Yeah, thank you. Hey everyone, I'm doing good. Also excited for the new features that we'll plan for this week. Yeah, I have a meeting today with Mateo also for the body review. And yeah, I have been like fixing the issues that Mitch reported on his testing. That's it for me, really. I'll pass it to Moshe Hap.
Hey, hello. I didn't expect you pass the mic to me this early. Hello guys, how are
All
you?
good.
It's easy, Shahab. You know, you have to say what's your intention for this meeting and do you have intentions or not.
Yeah, thanks, Mo. So I was planning to join this meeting today to get a sense of what you guys discuss on the sprint planning. I have been working on some tasks with Amin and Kai, and I wanted to see where I can support the best. So this is my intention for today. Should I pass it to someone? So I'll pass it to Muhammad Lanjbar.
Thank you, Musha. Hey everyone, my intention for this call is it would be good if we can talk about the API for third parties. We have talked in the issues and some short talk with Carlos, Monique, and Amin, and it would be good to make a decision in this call or maybe after this call, so just backend guys. This is my intention, and I don't have any distraction. I pass it to Lauren. Have you gone? I pass it to me. I pass it to me. Okay.
Yeah, cool. My intentions for the call are just to sync up, listen in, and touch on any issues that are in the general sprint planning for Give Economy stuff. And I'm just distracted by making tweets. I'll pass it to Amin.
Thanks. I pass it to Oki. Okiave, are you there?
Hey GM, I'm here to sync, and also I thought this was a governance call because that's what it said on the calendar, because I was trying to follow the conversation around the PFP NFT project.
That's the hour after this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they switched.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay.
I'll just take that then.
Thank you. I pass it to Alireza. Alireza, maybe all over the development team knows Alireza as well, but I think Lauren, you're new, in the meeting to meet the Alireza. Alireza is our new front-end devs, and this is Lauren, the product manager of Giveth Academy, and she does everything in the Giveth. To be honest, if you want to know what Giveth is doing, just follow up with her task. You can understand what Giveth is for. And can you go ahead right now, Riza?
I'm just here to sync with the team. I don't have anything special to say, and I think I will pass it to Mitch.
Mitch also went, I think, and I think Pedro, happy to have you here. Go ahead, man.
Hey guys, nice to meet you all. I'm here just to sync up, see how can I help, where can I help, and how can I be useful this week. And just that, I will pass back to Monique.
Thank you, guys. I think we have 4 or 5 agendas, one segment, one IPFS, one Stripe or notification, or API Give, and what the structure of our backend would be. And so I think because we're fresh enough to start talking about things that needs brains, I think, Mohammed, you can start with the, thinking up about the notification and making the decision about that. Or if you have any concerns about the design of the API Give, I mean the backend design. Go ahead and talk. Thank you.
Hey, hey again. I think it should be. It would be good if we just talk about one thing here, or API Give or notification center, and because I think we thought more in the API Give, we can talk about that. Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Okay. Just a second. Okay. I proposed some draft diagrams, and Carlos and Amin added something to that. The main idea that we have is we have organization entity already. Maybe we should. It should be good to add another entity like application. Every organization can have multiple application, and every application has has access to some scopes. For instance, imagine we have some endpoints and scopes, getting projects, reading projects, or creating new projects, creating donation, list donations. Every endpoint has a permission and a scope. So every an organization can create an application and request for some scopes. For instance, it says for this need, for this requirement, I need to have access to these scopes, and we give them the scopes, and they can request for getting an access token, refresh token, anything, just a token to we know who is requesting to us. So after giving them an access token, they can call their needed web services. So they can do everything: create donation, create project, every web service that we implement in the future. And we should have some log management to know what clients. How many time requested to a web service, how many requests was successful, how many of them wasn't successful, and something like that. And because it can be, Amin had a short talk, and Amin had a suggestion to we can move it to another repository and a new project that how this web services, it can be in the REST, because our impact graph is GraphQL. GraphQL is great for using our front end, but every open API that you see in the internet has used REST protocol for communication between the third parties and the APIs. We can create a new project, and that's it. This is our proposal, but we didn't make decision to how should we implement. And I think it would be good if anyone, backend developer, non-backend developer, non-developers, if you have any suggestion that we should consider that before starting implementation, I would appreciate if you give your feedback.
I want to give a quick one before continuing. Maybe you mentioned it, but I didn't listen. Did you consider adding documentation from now? Because I think that's going to be essential afterwards.
Yeah, I think it would be good if we have Swagger for our documentation and some README files for all web services. And we should have Swagger. It would make it easy for our clients.
And can I add
let me
something?
Sorry, because we don't have enough time, I just want to summarize the questions and jump into decision making. So one, new report not. Second, rest or not rest. Third, about the versioning. I remember that Carlos asked about it, and the fourth is. Am I right? We have 3 questions right now. And how we can have it, the first step. The first step, I think, is the token. Giving the token and the scopes is going to be the first step to take. And so, is it clear that we have just these 4 questions right now to make decisions about?
What's the scope? Sorry, I missed that part of the presentation. What the scope does?
Maybe some of applications need to create donations. For instance, PointArt says we need to create donation. We give the scope for creating donation just to PointArt, but Giving Block just need to create project in our platform, so we don't give them a scope of and access to create donation. So we can separate the access.
It's about authentications of the services that we gave to them. So if they, for example, authentication and authorization, instead of authentication. Once we authenticate them that you're the true third party, and after that they said, hey, it's my token, I want to do this. And we check it with the scope and can authorize them that they have enough access to doing this or not. So we can call scopes even intentions. In some API gateways, they call it intentions. So scopes is going to be some specific intentions. I describe it in other issues in that epic, if you're interested.
And another thing, you imagine that an application have all of permissions, but they want to give a token to one of their developers that they want to not have access to all the permissions. So we give them a token that has access just to one scope, so they can easily give it to everyone that they want. It's another user.
And about moving to another repo, I talked with Carlos and Mohammed, and our backend will move to we want to go for microservice design architecture, because we will have services and each of them can be run separately on different Dockers. And and also I talked with Thrive, our new DevOps, and we are planning for architecting our backend, our services, and utilize Kubernetes, for instance, and putting and get API gateway in front of every services. So we will have more advanced management of backend services in the future.
So the decision is made or not?
Yeah. This is made.
Yeah, at least I need a thumbs up from Carlos.
I'm getting into this microservices architecture type more. I've been reading this weekend, but I feel it could be really helpful, especially since we're making this more REST.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mateo.
Regarding that, the impact graph would be a microservice by itself calling all of the REST API services, or how is that going to be handled? Because the front end is going to be affected by that very drastically if we change to REST.
No, the front end will not change. If we will keep the impact graph, just the REST APIs will be served on another domain, preferably, and they will be totally different. So we will have another server totally separated from Impact Graph, and it's just its task is to just manage the REST API, the third-party APIs. Yeah. Go ahead, Mohammed. Sorry.
Yeah, we would have all the current impact graph, and we should add another project for third party, as Amin said. And it would be good if third party requests are a lot, we can scale up that project only, or if we can just put rate limit for the third party but not for ourselves, we can do everything that microservice give us. And I have one concern, about separating the repositories, because now our type ORM, our current ORM that we use, is syncing. It syncs the database with the entities. So if you have some columns in that table, but you don't have that field in the entity, it would delete it automatically. And if you add a field to entity, it would add it to table. So if we have two projects and we add an entity to a table in this project, and we forget to add it to this project, it would delete that, because this is syncs the entities with the table. I remember that Carlos started something to replacing the type ORM with the Prisma and turning off the auto sync and every time that we want to add something, we should write a migration. If we can do that, it would help us a lot to not conflicting between these two projects. It's my concern about separating these two projects.
We can discuss it later. Thank you for saying we can discuss it in a technical call.
It's very technical, yeah.
So let's get back to the repo, the REST, confirm, new repo, confirm, the REST APIs, confirm, the versioning, confirmed or not.
Yeah,
we have to have it. And the first step is just to, these are the success criteria from my, point of view. Me as a third party call a services for a specific scope, and it gives me a token for that. So me as a product owner want to have this web service that, I registered as a third party. I call it Monique app. So I have an IP, I'm an organization. I have an application called Monique app. I call the service for requesting token, and it gives me the token for accessing a specific scope. Is it okay for you to get started?
Yeah.
Thumbs up, Carlos.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move to another agenda. IPFS. Amin, can you summarize it in 10 minutes?
Yeah. What we did by Sharp was that we somehow blocked any query to IPFS, or made our previous IPFS server readable, and extend is add more disk space to that. So it still can serve because its storage was it's full, and we decided to just move every file to Pinata and use the Pinata services, right? So every file should be hosted on Pinata now, and our IPFS server will be the backup for that, for Pinata. Now we try to pin every file that are used in trace in Pinata. Currently, our Pinata service will host images of trace and impact graph. Because impact graph by default use Pinata, So currently, Pinata service should have every images. Our next step is to get list of images are pinned by Pinata and remove them from get the list of the used file, pinned file in Pinata, right? So they are the only files that are used in Giveth in any service, and just keep them in our IPFS server and delete the rest because someone has used our server to upload his own files. We assume. Just I want to get confirmation from Mohammed and Carlos, all backend guys, to be sure that is that enough? Is our assumptions right that our Pinata has all images that are used in impact graph? Am I right, Carlos, Mohammed?
I'm not sure for 100%, but I think it is what you say.
The point is that go ahead, Carlos, and then I.
No, I assume they are, but since we didn't have many protections for a while, there's a chance not that there's something else. But I assume like at least 99% is the pictures of the app.
Right. The point is that some images are useless right now because someone has changed his image and we didn't delete the Pinata files. So Shahab will have a Mohammed, you're sharing your screen. The point. Shahab is Shahab needs another step for fetching the images used in impact graph. Mohammed and Carlos should help him. Any of you can help him because, as I said, some images are useless in our Pinata service, so we can delete them and release some storage from Pinata. So, but it's fine right now. The storage is not too big. The amount of the volume is not too big, and we can ignore it at this moment. But we should do it care that release some resources our IPFS server. So it's my assumption. Give us trace develop, trace the main trace develop, and impact graph images are all in Pinata. And we can delete every file in our IPFS server that are not listed there. It's our assumption. And I need Carlos and Mohammed confirmation that have an eye on that, and we should be sure that we don't lose anything after that cleanup. Yeah, that's it.
So what do you need from us? You need to just planned issue for this sprint, or
we want them. If anything comes to their mind that those IPFS files should be kept, and you have ignored them, just tell me and review the process. That's fine. Carlos, I
think it would be good if you create an issue and write the checklist that you have said, because I remember that, but I may forget it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Thanks.
Shab, can you do it? Can you do what we have done?
Yeah, definitely. I can open an issue. I can explain what we have done so far, and still explain the areas where we might need some help in fetching the IPFS lists that we still need from our database. Are you guys doing that on ZenHub, right?
Yeah, you can.
I'm not sure that we have access to DevOps things because it's going to be public. I assume Kai made another one that was private. But let me know. I can assist you. Even have a meeting because our time zone is similar with Mohammed. I can manage. We have a meeting with Mohammed, and also if needed, Carlos. So, do you think, guys, that we can move on another topic?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we start talking about notifications, guys? Or, I just want to, have a simple point of view from all of you. We have an Epic on board. It's clear. It's 3 of them. I assume that it was blocked by the design right now. But for the structure of the backend, I was assuming that we have a single point of managing the notifications with every channel. And it means that we, for example, currently we're having just one channel, and there is email, and we want to add another channel that is going to be web. So we have web notifications of them, and the way that we trigger that events and we save the events of having this, it has to be implemented in the backend. So I just want to make sure that what's the blocker for the next step. I think we're in the same page, all of us. If you're not, please let me know right now. So since there is clear, what's going to be next step?
I think the next step. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I added some comments there, and Carlos added some comments as well. I think the first step is to decide we should do notification center as a microservice alongside the impact graph, or we want to do it inside impact graph. I think it's the first step. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. And we should prioritize, see that how much is important, because at this moment they have many tasks for backend guys and not much tasks for
guys. Forget about I didn't ask you to implement it. I just asked. I just brings one issue that was for issuing tokens. So I just want to make it more clear, and because all the other issues is blocked by the design, so I'm not intended to have it in the current implementation. But I just want to make it clear, and we're in the same page. One first requirement is that I can turn off notifications of emails at the first step, or at least say to Giveth that, hey, I don't want to have this notification. For example, everybody make donation on my project, and I don't want to have email furthermore. The second step is just to implement that bell icon in the header. So we gonna let the user know that something happened. For example, when they donate to a project and close their window, we have this notification somewhere saved, and with a red color up there that, hey, your notification is made, just for information. Or for example, your project is live. Go there and see it. And when I see it, it became all of the notification turned to seen status, and we're not going to be notified anymore. So these are the requirements. I just want to make sure. My intention was that at least thinking about having this notification somewhere. And my question is that, do we have another choice from excluding it from impact graph or not? Because I was assuming all the event is made in the impact graph. We don't have any other events. We may add it.
Actually have the point is the processing such complex, all accounting, sending emails, keeping track of read and unread notification, and saving the notification can be handled outside the impact graph. Actually, there will be a channel between impact graph and another service that every time something happens on impact graph, right? It will send an event to notification service. Okay, that event happened in impact graph, create notification for that. Right, am I right? For instance, someone donated to a project. It just said that someone donation happened to that project and tells it to notification service, and it do the rest. It handles the complexity. It says that, okay, who are the subscribers? Okay, who wants email? Who doesn't want email? And it can manage all the rest. Just one thing that we need to implement in Impact Graph is to connect it to a communication channel. We say queue. Mohammed and Carlos know what I'm telling. EQ on Redis, or we can use for another one, but Redis is available. It put an event there, and notification service listen to that, and when you read that, it does by a simple event. It creates complex stuff. So that's the reason we are going for microservice, because the impact graph it will become more complex and too complex if you want to implement all of them inside the impact graph. And impact graph just points and important points just trigger that events and send that events to the notification center. For instance, if a donation is received, if someone liked the project, if projects have updates, at those points just notifies the notification service. Is it clear?
Right now, the autopilot use the segment events. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
we
it
kind
takes
of
from the
do this already with segment. But I think the difference, what I hear, is that we want in-app notifications, and then we want external notifications, which is like email. So I don't know how much work that makes, having to like send a notification to something else, and then that something else like segment sends something back to the UI. Or does it make more sense if the impact graph just sends it right to the UI? But at any rate, this notification service you're saying kind of sounds like segment.
Probably, we will create an API gateway, so the queries of a notification will be redirected to notification service. All of us are pinging the same service, same server, but the queries of the notification will be redirected to another service, and the queries to the impact graph are redirected to the impact graph. All of them are on the same machine, but on different Dockers, so it will be fast.
Is it that necessary? I mean,
for what?
For having this make it that much complex.
It's not complex. It's well defined. I typed it price. That API gateway is new for us, but it's so common. It's commonly used in DevOps, in Quarant. And it's the state of the, it's so common in the industry that all are used there. But, our backend is so simple. If someone look at it, there's just a single Node.js application that will do all of that. We have the experience in the feathers. We did everything, and it was too complex. No one can understand it. Even Mohammed and I forget sometimes parts of the code. And maintaining and developing, and that is too hard. If someday we want to hire a new backend developer, it's very hard for him to understand what's happening in the code, and it's not maintainable. So we decouple the logics, decouple the businesses, implement them in different services, and that helps us to scale down and scale up. A single service, it has to. There are some pressure on that. The rate of the request goes up, and single server cannot respond well. So we can create another instance. So suppose that we want everything in impact graph. We cannot create another big impact graph. Impact graph should be light and simple.
So according, I love, before we make a decision, I love that Mitch presented first, and after that he might change your mind. Because I don't want to make anything new, I just want to do it in the minimal state right now. So even think about, forget about, unsubscribing with emails. We just want to send push notifications in the web. So think of it first and how we can implement in that way. And if we can, have this event, in segments, or because we already have it, on behalf of the events of the impact graph, we trigger this segment, and after that it sends to autopilot or everywhere amplitude. And we may use it. I don't know.
You want to just notification in the web application, right? Is it what you mean? Notification in the web application, the header, the bell, and
I think that's, instead of having very much complex things with microservice out of our repo, we can use our current events in the impact graph and trigger the event of the segment, and also that segment can handle the notifications with every third parties. Like
it sends email, but it sends email. How you can show it in the bell in the front application?
It sends the data to other services. So maybe I'll just show you, and then it'll make more sense.
Yeah. Go ahead, please, Mitch. It's your time.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, this is segment. Let's see if I can pull up the thing here. So yeah, this is segment here, and it actually takes information that it receives from the impact graph. And so you can see we have all of these things that we're collecting right now, like identifying people, tracking when donations are made. And we have all these different events that we've defined in there, and we've actually defined the information that we want to collect. And so we get the user ID, we get the event name, and then we can say what other things like the slug, the amount they donated, the currency they donated in. We can change the value to ETH, we can change the value to USD. So we can see all this information, and we have it deployed on Trace, we have it on staging, we have it on Trace staging. It's been deployed everywhere. And then once we collect this stuff from the sources, we can actually tell it where we want to send this information. So for example, we are sending information to Amplitude, which does analytics, and then we send it to Autopilot, which will do our emails. And so in Amplitude, we haven't really used it very much because we've been using mostly like Fabio's analytics charts that he's been making. But once we have the information here, we're able to aggregate it how we want. So we can see all sorts of different types of information here. And you can go pretty deep with this stuff using Amplitude. And then apart from that, we have our email service, which is Autopilot. And so Autopilot will actually will look for certain events that happen in segment. Like, for example, it'll wait for the event called draft publish, and then it'll start a journey. So it'll send an email, it'll create a delay, we'll check up on them to see if they did an update, we'll send them another email, and you can just keep on designing after that. And so a lot of our current segment events are based upon sending emails, but they don't necessarily have to be. Like, we can just create the segment event, wait and listen for it, and then we could send it back to the UI as like a push notification or something like that. And we can also define the information that we want to get. Let's see if I can get this in here. In the impact graph. Can you guys see my VS Code?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty happy, huh? You can see right here, we define the information that we want to get for each different call. So for here, we call it made donation. We gather the information here, email, first name, anonymous, and then we send that to Segment when this is called in the impact graph. So that's kind of the gist of it, and maybe you can see how we can use this to send emails or push notifications. We can define what events we want to capture and what information we want to capture with each event, and which service we want to send it to.
Yeah, cool, great. And I wonder, is there any service that we can integrate with our front end? Currently our front end, we have, actually what you said is that it sends the events to another services, and one of them can be push notification for front end. Am I right? So do you know anything that does that for us? Actually our front end should not be connected to another service, authenticate there, right? So that service should keep track of read and unread notification, because do you understand what I'm saying? It's about authentication and reading data, and for instance, mark a notification as read, and change the subscription, and all of them are so customizable. If you know something, I can read about it and investigate whether it's possible or not. But it's in your vision about the application, you need someone logging, and when he logs in notifications shows him that, okay, it's your notifications, mark 3 of them read, and when something happens, the notification updates. And then this, if we want to send notification on the fly, and actively user should be connected with WebSocket. So let's ignore it at this moment. That's it. It's to be complex, and it's and at the point that I mentioned during my call with Carlos and Mohammed, that people will think that microservice is huge, it's complex. No, it's not. It's not. Actually, we have connected feathers and impact graph together by a channel, and they communicate together. So it's somehow microservices. We don't have all the services in single server. So we have feathers. We have practice microservices. The point is that yeah.
Sorry, I mean, I'm interrupting you. Okay, I keep that decision. To be talking about that because I got your point. Let's focus on segments right now. Especially, I want front end guys to know more about it, because when I asked Cherik and Ramin to, do you have a clue about what's what's the analytics is working? They don't say. They say that no, we're not familiar with it. So as you see, all the events are triggered from the impact graph. So we won't trigger any events from the backend, from the front end, directly to segments. Am I right, guys? Can you confirm it? Mm-hmm. So I can say that we don't have any analytics right now, because the events that came from the backend are not going to be we can send them to analytic tools, but it's not kind of user tracking.
We can kind of user track, because in the impact graph we have a user ID that we can follow, and so we can see if a user made X amount of donations, which donations a project they donated to, the USD value of donations they made in like a time range. It's just that Segment wasn't reliably sending the information. We were hitting something with like the rate limit, and things were getting lost, and so I think when we started to add cron job and other things in there, it got better, but it needs more testing before we can call it accurate, but it works.
But you don't have any sense if, for example, you don't have user ID. For example, I'm as a visitor, for example, Lauren tweets a specific feature. A lot of people came into the page, but we don't have any clue that how many of them, registered in the app because, they don't have user ID.
Yeah. Once they sign in, we have a user ID, right?
When they connect their wallet, we have a user ID, but without any completed profile.
Right.
So whenever they connect their wallets, we have a user ID. So even for the device that they're using, we don't have any clue that how many of them were missed for example, in the mobile version or in which channel they came. We don't have any clue. For example, they came from the Twitter, they search us from the Google, or with which channel we promote them. So yeah. Also, the time that they spend on the application, the tracking tools have these parameters, and we don't have it right now.
We don't have a session concept here.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, we can't call it, user tracking. So I just wondering to, maybe Matto can help us on this. Is there any reason we didn't start with I think that we on the old version, the next version, we have Google Analytics. I'm not sure. Is there any reason that we stopped using that analytics tools?
No, we didn't have Google Analytics that I remember.
We have other analytics. Brave blocked us. Sorry for interrupting.
No.
Yeah, Brave blocked us because that was the reason we decided to implement most of the analytics in the backend. So we knew that the user has visited some page, has queried for viewing a page. Yeah. Basically, we cannot rely too much on the front-end data. For any reason, user can block them. But our backend is no. The good point about the Next.js is that we have server-side rendering, and it can help us to know which pages are visited. Am I right, Matto and Churik?
Excuse me, I distracted. Can you repeat?
For tracking users, Next.js would help us because, for instance, we can implement an endpoint an API in the Next.js, or put some logic in the server-side rendering in order to track people. Whenever people visited a service, opens a page, everything, we can implement, we can send a message indirectly to segment, because the user cannot send analytics data to because Brave, for instance, blocked them, right? Brave Shield doesn't allow the segment event to send to its server.
Yeah, but I think it's limited because if you want to implement the analytics by the Next.js or send events to the segments, we can't have features like sessions, like page visiting and track users. Or maybe it's very complex, I think.
Sorry, guys, I have to interrupt you. I got your point. Thank you, Mitch. I think that we're gonna continue our discussion in our dailies about that. And just for information, guys, almost all of my issues regarding to the devs roadmap are a little bit blocked by the. Are they blocked by the design guys? So it's for you, Lauren. I can say that I can't plan specific things. I just have tiny issues to assign the front end guys right now, and we can't proceed anyway in the dev right now. We're almost blocked. The guys have issues to follow up. I try to provide them something, tiny to, have their, but they pass. But for taking the specific features, I can't proceed because Mo and Tosin are also busy on the, design stuff for Give Power. So I can say that we're waiting for Give Power, and you can also see the board, and you understand that all of the issues is kind of blocked by the design. So this is my state for now. So I can't, unfortunately, plan for this sprint. And do you have anything to add, Lauren?
Blocked by design, but I'm gonna have a meeting with Mo tomorrow, and he's gonna go over the designs, and maybe by that point or this week we'll be able to break things into issues for our front end devs. But that's all I got for Give Power.
Thank you. So I'm going to continue with the backend guys for implementing this stuff because we sooner or later have to provide APIs for third parties and sandboxes, and have all the integrations with these third parties are going to be blocker for new feature, in my understanding, because we have lots of third parties coming in DAO to DAO, and they want service. We want to serve them with. We want to use their services, and we want to make it more standard. So we go ahead with the notification and API Give on the backend side, and I love to take the tracking issues if you're able. So I'm going to have a talk with Cherry and Meta about it, and after that we'll decide on that. But for categories, for notification center, for donation with cards of the projects, for multi-level accounts, every of them are kind of blocked by the design. So it's going to be our roadmap implementation, but I can't say that when we can start implementing that. So we have a meeting every day, and I'll let you know if I can assign issues to you. Thank you. Do you have anything to add, guys?
Thanks, everyone. It was a very helpful meeting for me.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about authentication service that I will talk later with Mohammed and Carlos about it. It's another, we have